Hey guys, welcome to another ramble with me, Flo, the UIM. And today I've got an extra special ramble. It's a topic I wanted to talk about for a while, and that is botting. Something that you probably read about every single day, whether it's on Twitter, Reddit, whether it's something from Jagex being posted, whether you follow like the bot detector plugin or the creators like Seppugo that do a lot of stuff to do with botting. So it is one of those hotly contested topics. And I kind of wanted to break down my thoughts and opinions on it, and maybe come up with a solution. So just as a little disclaimer before we begin, I do not agree with any form of botting, cheating, getting any kind of unfair advantage in a game. I think it's just pointless, really. I think if you do it, you just shouldn't bother playing the game. I think there's, it's a fun game, it's a great environment. You don't need to be doing those kind of things, but there are people that do that, and I may sort of discuss some reasons why people might be doing that, and that's purely to give a balanced kind of view of things, because I do, I like to come up with both sides of the argument and come up with my own opinion. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really for it at all. To kind of break it down, I'm going to go through the W's and the H's. So I'm going to go the what, the who, the how, the why, more the why and then the how actually. And the how will be how can we solve this issue. So we're going to look at what is a bot, who is botting, why might they be botting, and then how can we come up with some solutions. And I've got some pretty good ones here. But before we begin, as always, if you're enjoying the content, do drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's a free way to support the channel. And I'm trying to get that 1k sub goal by the end of this year. It's already March, and the support's been really awesome so far. So yeah, keep those likes and subs coming and enjoy the video. Well, the ramble, should I say, because it's just going to be chatting to you for a bit, really. So what is botting? In a sense, botting is sort of a robot playing the game for you in the easiest kind of sense. So it's essentially a program, a script, whatever you want to call it, plugin, I don't even know, that essentially controls your character, does all the movements for you, and it allows you to essentially play the game without actually playing it yourself. There are sort of different tiers of bots. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just going to sort of briefly explain each tier. So at the basic tier, you've got your kind of one action bots. I don't really know what else you'd call them, but essentially, you set something up to cut wood, it cuts wood, puts it in your bank, goes back, cuts more wood, puts it in your bank. Wood cutting bot essentially. And these don't really do anything else other than that. It's repetitive actions. I think they're quite easily picked up by the anti-botting, anti-cheating team, and they don't really have much behind them, and they're sort of the bots that have been around for years and years and years. They even came out, I think, back in RuneScape Classic. I'm not too sure with that. A step up from that, you've got bots that do a variety of tasks. So there might be wood cutting, fishing, mining, like a skilling bot that will do a set amount of time on each task to kind of confuse the bot detection team, the anti-botting team, to sort of essentially train up characters to whatever level, and then hopefully go undetected. This can kind of be extrapolated a bit further into like questing bots, or bots that have a specific purpose, and to get there they have to do certain skills like Zora bots or Warcath bots and things like that. Essentially the aim is to get them to a point where they can carry out an action, have a wide set of skills. A lot of these bots are like hacked accounts, so high level accounts can be hacked. People getting their information through the account recovery service, which I've heard is not very great, and then they can essentially just abuse those accounts to do the buying activities. Those ones are, I think, are slightly harder to detect initially because their stats are more like a real person, but in the end their actions, as sort of time goes on, can be quite easily depicted as botting. And then you've got the upper tier, which is kind of the thing that I'm interested in the most. I've actually recently just achieved my master's in AI and data science. Well, I finished it all. I'm just waiting for the green tick and I can put the letters behind or in front of my name, which would be the machine learning bot. So actually, so before we continue, I'll sort of go over why I think I have a slightly learned opinion. Like I said, just completed my master's. I've got a invested interest and experience with machine learning models, algorithms, and AI in different sort of sectors. I've done some stuff with healthcare. I've done some stuff with like property and finance and things like that, sort of during my course, as well as outside of that. I've also undertaken some early video game development courses as well, so I have an idea about a bit about player psychology and game design and things like that. So, but yeah, that's less about me, more about the botting. So the final tier of bot, I'd say, would be the learning bot, the machine learning bot. Now, I think Sapugga did a video on this a while ago about someone who'd made a bot that can essentially read what's happening and learn from exterior inputs. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. That could be another whole nother video actually. But essentially, the first two tiers of bots, they just are trained to do a certain action. So you've just got the input from the botter's side, right? And that's all they do. They just repeat those inputs over and over again in whatever kind of sequence that they've been programmed to do. But a machine learning bot will actually read and understand the data behind what's happening from the output side of the game. So one really good example would be some of the PKing bots that can switch prayers, switch gear in an instant by reading what the other player is doing. A lot of this is also done via AHK scripting as well, especially with the PKing bots, which is a whole other kind of side of it, which is where you have one button that you click and that performs multiple other actions. Again, that's highly bannable. I don't agree with that at all. But with the machine learning side, it can actually sort of, absorb a bit of information. You can train it, so you could sit behind and play for a couple of hours, and then the script will actually pick up your actions, learn your behavior as a normal person, and then sort of act that out and continually learn. That's kind of where the discrepancy comes between sort of low level bots and high level bots, in terms of sort of programming wise, is that the high level bots actually have a side of learning behind it, and that machine learning is quite interesting, but also can be sort of detrimental to sort of the game's integrity in the future. So we've sort of said what is a bot there, what are bots. Summarize: computer program doing the action for you, and leveling up or getting things in the game for you. Who would bot? I think there's a variety of people that bot. I think some people might just be normal players, and they might just want to have that feeling of having a high level character or loads of gear or loads of money or something, without actually playing the game. They might just want to go off and do something else and leave the bot script running. The other side of it would be gold sellers. So RuneScape's one of those kind of niche games. One of those games where the in-game currency has an actual value outside of the game. Gold sellings and real-world trading is something that's been really sort of picked up by Jagex recently, and they're trying to do a lot to prevent that happening and to punish those people that buy and sell gold for real money. But essentially, there are people that can make hundreds of thousands of pounds, dollars, whatever, in doing that. A lot of them could just be someone trying to pay their uni debts off, or trying to pay for a new car, or things like that. And they play a lot of RuneScape, and then they decide they want to actually bot and get that money quickly by using multiple different accounts. And that's what a lot of these kind of botting people do. They don't just have one, they have loads running, and that way they're going to sort of reap the biggest benefit for themselves out of that. Another thing would be account selling as well, similar kind of thing to real world trading, where people are just selling accounts online for money. If you have loads of bots running, you can do that. But there's also an interesting group of people that would develop these scripts, and they're people that sell the scripts to public, using sort of dark webs, but kind of the dark side of the RuneScape web, to make some money out of doing that. So money seems to be the main driver here. Whether you're botting gold and you're selling that gold on for money, or whether you're developing the scripts and selling to make money for yourself. there might be some people that just are lazy and they just want a bot for, you know, just to get gear and levels and things like that. But I don't think that's too regular. I think if you're that kind of sad to bot one account for a bit of clout, then maybe you should do something else. Oh, that's level 33 agility, exciting times. So yeah, they're kind of who would bot. You know, again, there's also PKing bots and stuff like that, people that maybe just want to grief people, but you know, money seems to be the motive there. And that kind of brings me into the why bot. You know, some people might not be in areas of the world where they can't, you know, get a good job, or this might be the only thing that they enjoy doing, so they might just bot to make gold on the side of their sort of day-to-day lives. They also could just be, you know, like the developers that could actually be trying to make something groundbreaking, and they think that this is actually beneficial to the game by making these scripts and selling them on and things like that, or they think that it might better their career as a developer or a programmer. I don't know. Unfortunately for them, you know, RuneScape's not this open source sandbox game where you can just program anything and get away with it and make mods and whatnot. You know, I'm using RuneLite here, and that's because it's a verified client. And its plugins are merely there just to kind of add a bit of help and support as you're playing, and some quality of life updates. They don't actually do anything for you. So yeah, that's kind of gone through the what is a bot, who would bot, why would they bot, and now I'm going to kind of go into my thoughts on how can botting be prevented. Now, I've got a few ideas. One of them is pretty extreme, and you might see this coming because you see the type of accounts I play, but Iron Man mode for everyone. That would probably kill botting, and gold selling and real world trading and stuff, probably in an instant. For those who don't know, if you're an Iron Man or an alternate Iron Man, there's one key restriction through any of the Iron Man modes, and that is no trading and no use of the Grand Exchange. So that means that money can't actually change from account to account. So the gold that you have on your account stays on your account, and to my knowledge, there's no way to get that gold off onto another Iron Man account. So hey, make everyone an Iron Man. Seems like a pretty good idea. I for one wouldn't, you know, that wouldn't really bother me, and that's one reason why I'm never kind of that worried about, you know, one, getting hacked, because what are you going to do rather than grief me. Two, I'm not worried about ever being classed as a bot, because I don't know if anyone really bots Iron Man characters, because, you know, unless it's just for skills and you're lazy, you know, the money is kind of, well, I guess, yeah, you can trade off the money to main accounts and stuff like that, but, you know, there's more restrictions to that with trading and stuff. So yeah, making everyone an Iron Man could be one solution. The community would probably be up in an uproar. So a little sip of tea there. The community would probably be in uproar because, you know, it's something that, you know, being able to use the Grand Exchange and there's all those other things, a lot of people really enjoy. So they probably lose a lot of players, and I doubt for JGAPs that would be the right solution. Another one, and something that I've been thinking of more recently, just looking at other video games that have online kind of capabilities, is using some sort of anti-cheat program or software. I don't know the ins and outs of how the software works. I've kind of read little bits and bobs and watched a few videos in the past on how anti-cheating works with regards to programs or games, but a lot of AAA games will have anti-cheats just pre-loaded into them, so once you install them, you also install the anti-cheat program, and that essentially reads your inputs and what's actually being injected into the game, and analyzes that, and if it thinks that you're cheating, breaking any game rules like that can be read via the input side of it, they'll just ban you. And I think for those it's IP bans, and they're pretty hard on that. I've recently been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and that's got an anti-cheat thing that pops up every time you load it up, and that's obviously firing up ready to go to prevent cheaters. So could they do that with RuneScape? They probably could. Jagex have been talking about making a launcher that has sort of multiple things on it. I saw a tweet or two about it. I didn't really read too much into it, but yeah, if they had a launcher where you launch the game from, within that it could have an anti-cheat program that runs, obviously with your consent, as part of the kind of end user agreement, and You know, it could read the inputs from your computer, could check if there are any conflicting programs running. So I'm not talking about, you know, being able to see everything on your computer, because I think that would be a massive invasion of privacy. But I think being able to have a look at any programs that are running, there could be a list of programs built into the anti-cheat thing that could be like, hey, this is a known program. If you're caught using this, we're going to ban your account straight away. Easy peasy, just like that. It could also use a bit more of some of the machine learning side of the world, again, which is a topic I love, that the anti-botting team, the bot detector plugin team, have been using. So Fraric's kind of a guy that I have talked with in the past. I'm in the Discord. I haven't really done much in that Discord, but they do have the sort of machine learning dev side of it that I do want to get involved with when I have the time to. But essentially that plugin, and a lot of you guys probably already know about it, will uses machine learning, analyzes data from player activity, stats, gear, that kind of thing, what players are doing around you, runs it through an algorithm. An algorithm is just obviously mathematical equations. For those of you who didn't know, quite advanced, that will then sort of categorize each player, whether they think they're a bot or not. These will then get analyzed, and then they'll be checked to see if they're real or not, and all the real ones will get passed on to Jagex and hopefully get banned. So Jagex could employ some of the similar technology, using the vast amounts of data that they could be collecting from this game, and they probably already have that data stored somewhere, to create some anti-cheating flags and categories for players, and that could be built into like an anti-cheat software as well. So that could be a really, really good way of doing that. I'm trying to think of I had another idea of preventing botting. I think taking down and trying to sort of really limit the amount of or the value of gold outside of the game could be key as well. I know they're trying to do that to prevent real world trading, and I think, you know, the two kind of go hand in hand a lot of the time. So yeah, if they could devalue GP in the real world, I don't know how they'd do that per se, but you know, if they made it so that it was worthless, then you know, that could be something that prevents it. But in so many games that have currencies that can be, moved between accounts, it's very, very difficult to prevent gold being sold. Even looking at Elden Ring again, an example, the game's been out for a couple of weeks. People are already selling the in-game currency runes, which you get from killing monsters and selling things when you acquire them. People are already selling runes to other people via their kind of trading system that they've got in their multiplayer thing. You can actually go online, even on eBay, and you can buy like rune packs and stuff like that. It's pretty bonkers. But you know, same here. There are gold selling websites where you can just go on and buy gold. I don't think that you should. I think buying and selling gold is really bad as well. So yeah, do not do that. So yeah, that's kind of a couple of big ideas I think that could really change. I think the first one probably won't ever happen. I think making everyone an Iron Man is probably a bad idea for the game's future. So I think a load of people would be really put off by that. But one thing I wanted to touch on, and it kind of is the devil's advocate side of it, is I think we have to be conscious of what does botting bring to the game. So we know what it kind of does and how it harms the game to a degree. So, you know, the key harm there would be, you know, real world trading. You've got the damage to the in-game economy, which is obviously balanced out by player activity on the Grand Exchange, which is a key component to a lot of people's gaming fun and enjoyment. You've also got the kind of the annoyance factor. You could be an Iron Man. You could be someone trying to farm out an item or a monster or a resource, and there's just bots there taking over and depleting that resource, which is really frustrating. And you know, it means that people don't want to play the game, and thus Jagex kind of loses players through that way. However, on the flip side of it, a lot of these bots pay membership, and I know that they don't. It's against the rules, and it's their rules, and they have to enforce that. But I don't know how quickly they want to just absolutely eradicate botting fully 100% from the game, because there is an economic downside to that. I don't know how big that is. I don't know if, you know, even just having the accounts created and then deleted once they've paid their membership is enough to kind of keep the wheels of the economy running. I don't really know the statistics. I don't know how many bots there are active with membership versus real players. You know, it's just speculation at this point, but you know, that could be a way, it could be a thing, a consideration that, you know, Jagex, the higher ups, are definitely thinking about. You know, also, botting kind of it does bring in a lot of materials into the Grand Exchange. You know, especially those bots that, you know, mine a load of stuff or collect a load of resource and dump it into the Grand Exchange. So there would be some interesting effects on the economic side of it there. There might be increases in price because the scarcity of things might go up. There might be a, you know, a decrease in volume of things. It might be harder to buy certain items and objects and stuff like that. I don't really know what the long-term effects of that could be, but it's interesting to think that, you know, there's actually a knock-on effect either way, of allowing botting to continue or for it not to. So yeah, it's kind of just a few ideas I've had on my mind. Again, these rambles are a recording of what is mostly my shower thoughts and thoughts I just have during the daytime, and I try and get them out. I don't actually write them down. A lot of this is done just off the top of my head whilst I'm running laps here in Shazium on my Zayaroni account, and I am actually currently editing an episode for that. So if you are waiting for that, it is coming. It's taking a while, just because real life's been really busy. Been playing a lot of other games as well. I'm sorry. I played a lot of leagues as well, which was fun. But you know, I'm getting there. It will be out soon. I've actually got footage back. I think it's back from December and early January that I'm editing at the moment. So I am a bit far behind. But once I get all that done, I'll kind of be back on track with that. And also I'm doing a lot of footage for the monthly UAM account as well, for the UAM, my main UAM. So yeah, all that good stuff is coming. But yeah, like I said, these rambles are just kind of a little segue points, little, you know, break up the monotony of the week and let you guys know what I'm thinking about. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Really, if you've come this far, I really appreciate you listening to me waffle on. There will be some relaxing music in the background, and I hope you guys have been enjoying that thus far. I know a lot of people do. But yeah, please do leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. What do you think could be the solution to botting in the future? Do you think it's as big a problem as people make it out to be? You know, like I said, I for one, as an Iron Man, I don't really, well, Ultimate Iron Man I should say, I don't really feel the negative effects of botting, but I don't know. Maybe that's just because I do a select sort of things, especially on Zaya. You know, I do a select activities that aren't that botted heavily, and even on my UAM, I do a lot of activities that are PVM related or sort of small skinning related, not mass sort of things. So I haven't really felt the negative effects of that, but let me know in the comments below what you think of that. And again, if you made this far, thank you so much for supporting the channel. We're sitting at close to 220 subscribers. 500 subscribers is kind of a mini goal. 1000 is the goal of the year. 500 means I can put out some cool community posts on YouTube and hopefully get some more interesting, exciting stuff out there for you guys. So yeah, please do that. Follow me on Twitter. I'll flash up my Twitter link as well, twitter.com/LawrenceTheDev1. I've only got 200 followers on Twitter as well, so things are growing and I'm loving the support and everything. So yeah, please do have a great day, whatever you're doing out there. Stay safe, and I will see you again soon in Gillingham.